Hey everybody, welcome back to our playthrough of Gallop Racer 2006. Sorry I haven't posted this in a little bit. I moved and I had to go dig this out of storage, the PlayStation 2, and then I had to find the disc, which was not in the console. And thankfully I did all that this morning, and I played for about 3 hours, and I got about 2 hours of gameplay. What I set out to do in this breeding was get this all distance type. Now, as you can see, the skills weren't great, just 4 stars across the board. I was hoping for 5s. It looked like it could have gotten 5s during the breed pairing, and it did not. So please don't think you're going to see a world-beating horse here. Now, the son or daughter of this horse might be a world-beating horse, but this horse is just good. It actually got a little bit frustrating in the second hour of gameplay because I was trying to get some horse titles I hadn't gotten before, and this horse just isn't fast enough to beat other horses. So we're gonna slog a little bit at the beginning, but at the end of the day, sometimes you're gonna have to struggle with this progression in this game in order to pass desired traits on to the next generation of horse. So Dakota Ring's greatest value is not in any races that she wins that we're about to watch. It's that she's carrying forward traits that I want to have in future breed pairings, at least on turf, which is the distance, the ability to cover long distances. So we're going to go here into my horse and find Dakota Ring, just a C rating filly. As you can see, it's just off the lead. An open circle interval for stamina, a couple of special abilities, probably grit and stretch burst based on her parents. And we're just going to go find some races and see what we can unlock here in the skills of the horse. Now, I know we just did a video where we had a late growth horse and we were winning grade 1s right off the bat. That's different because that horse had 5-star rated skills. This horse has 4-star rated skills. So we're not going to be winning grade 1 races right off the bat. We may not be even winning open classification races right off the bat. But we're going to see what we can do. So at the very least, I hope you appreciate the grind here. Just like a lot of other games, sometimes you got to grind it to progress to a level you want. You know, I play another game, World of Warships, where sometimes you got to grind through the ship without upgrades to get the experience to put the upgrades on. So this is kind of that same thing. We want the traits this horse has in a future generation. So we've got to race this horse, and it's not going to be as good as I'd hoped it would be, but its son or daughter may be the horse that I wanted it to be in the breeding shed. All right, so we are on the outside here, and as you can see, we've got to lug out a lot to get around the horses in front of us. Maybe I went a little too far out wide. And we're going to go to the whip, and my horse is not supposed to run from the back of the pack. It's supposed to run from just off the lead, so we're not going to have a lot of luck here, although we do trigger stretch burst. Alright, maybe I spoke too soon. I think we finished second. So the early and often triggering of the skills is definitely a huge plus, or special abilities part of me. You want those special abilities to trigger because you want them to evolve. You also want them to trigger so they carry forward in the breeding shed. And so I was happy to see stretch burst carry over or to trigger right there. All right, we're going to peek at the horse card at some point and see what we have going on. So we've got the double circle for turf, and we're showing 11 furlongs. So I'm hoping that our interval is 11 to 18 furlongs, because that is definitely something I want to carry forward with a double circle for turf and an open interval for stamina. Now, don't get me wrong, a double circle for stamina would be fantastic. I did have a breeding that you didn't see that had that, but that horse didn't have. It had 1 5-star and then like 3 2 and 3-star skills, and racing that horse was an absolute nightmare. So it went the way of the deletion bin, and I bred this horse instead. And although it wasn't 5 stars, I was just like, you know what? We'll just see what happens with the genetic traits, and if the genetic traits are there, then I can handle that this horse isn't 5 stars. And so it was a little bit of a painful bit in the second part when I want to win races and stuff like that. But I think going forward, this horse is going to be fantastic in the breeding shed. That was a great start. So we're off here, sinking back. I don't know why this horse was so difficult for me to mesh with, but it just was. And the thing that I also found really strange is that this horse has a high feel number, and I found myself fiddling with the speed on this horse just as much as any other horse. And the worst part was sometimes I wouldn't be doing anything on the controls, and the horse would just start speeding up for no reason in the middle of the race. And, you know, I'm like glancing down at my phone or something, and I look back up and it's in yellow and the green meter's gone, and it's just like, what are you doing, you know? And so a horse that has high feel isn't supposed to do that. All right, look at that. We eke out a victory here in the OC. And so right here I was like, all right, this is going to be great. This horse is going to be lots of fun because we're going to win all these races at the last second. Even though we're not winning any money. By the way, I'm sorry about any sounds you might hear in the background, like the heating and air conditioning system. It is, my computer is lying. My computer says 48 degrees out. Thanks, Microsoft. The truth is it's 37 degrees out. It was probably much colder than that this morning when I went to get this gaming system. It's going to be 22 next Saturday as the high. So I'm definitely staying in. You know, my local track just opened on December 3rd, and I was going to go out there today, but I was like, 38 degrees. I don't know if I can do that. Next Wednesday, however, it's going to be 45 degrees, and I might stop by after work, get some of that weekday racing under my belt at Turfway Park. Which, by the way, is a poly surface. I know I mentioned erroneously that some of these tracks had synthetic or poly surfaces.
The horses are in the gate.
My home track has one. So it'll be really interesting seeing that. My understanding is you want to bet it like a turf course. We'll see if that holds up.
And they're off.
All right, terrible start. My horse went wild. And then we found out we have a track with a lot of rough. Maybe I should have bred the rough okay trait. I think I've tried to do that in the past and haven't been successful, at least in this playthrough, in getting that trait. But I don't think it really is valuable because it's not like, I don't think running in the rough all the time is okay, even with a horse that has rough okay. I just think it's good if you run into the rough. You won't be penalized. Basically, it makes your horse work harder. Now, if you could run in the rough with no penalty with the rough okay, I think that would be really desirable. Because look at how much distance is in between me and the rail. There's a lot of room there that you can save and basically run without interference. All right, we dipped into the rough to hit the ignition. We are trying to close the distance here on these top horses. And the 6 and the 10 are nosing in front. Go back to the whip. We get stretch burst to trigger, but it just doesn't trigger enough until after the finish line. So we end up finishing second in the Cosmos Stakes. we're just going to soldier on. There are going to be some replays. I might edit a couple of them out for the sake of brevity in the second half of the video, meaning the second episode, which will be next Saturday. But yeah, that's when I was having some disappointing performances, when this horse was at superstar level. So pardon my frustration and any bad editing in next week's video ahead of time. All right. We're going to try the Harvard Stakes down at Harvard Yard. We are not the favorite. And we're going to get that A10 exacta box going. I hope everybody had a great
Thanksgiving. The horses are in the gate.
And hopefully you aren't in a very cold part of the country like I am. Relatively cold. All right, there's a pretty good start. Number one is off like a shot. We're going to try to move over. I found I drew a lot of outside post positions with this horse, so I prefer moving over to the inside, as y'all know. But I guess with this one, I decided to run on the outside. I don't have a lot of luck running on the outside. I think I have to move around the other horses too much. And the other thing about a horse like this, which can be tedious, is that when your horse excels in long distance races, that means you have to run long distance races that take up a long time. There's a lot of management in a longer race, and that can be annoying. So just something to think about when you're in the breeding shed trying to make your horse here in Gallop Racer. All right, we're going to go to the whip as we go around that last turn. I was hoping to be able to swoop right by the 8, but that jockey also went to the whip. And we luckily get our speed burst, stretch burst, pardon me, and take the victory.
We have a winner!
Yeah, I hate to say it, now that I'm thinking about it, it's almost like the horse got harder to ride as it got older, but also I'm stepping way up in competition compared to what I'm at now. So I'm not angry at the horse. I'm angry at myself for not being able to play it to its fullest abilities. All right, you can see track type and stuff, all that stuff is a filled triangle. Basically, that's no advantage whatsoever. Also, a wet turf, no advantage. And trying to look for longer races. And in the absence of finding a longer race, I'll find a fillies only race, the Fantasy Stakes in San Francisco. Golden Gate, and we are going to get our bet in. I think I did this bet wrong. There's maybe it's in a deleted race. There was one race where I did the bet wrong, and I ended up winning the race, and I won no money because I did a straight exacta instead of a box, and I put the other horse as the favorite, and I was just like, maybe I had too much sleep.
The horses are in the gate.
Maybe I slept in too much, and I have brain fog from getting too much sleep. Maybe that's what happened.
And away they go.
Boy, that looks really shitty out in this video. Definitely raining, and probably absolutely miserable for the jockeys and the horses. All right, we finally get out of the rough. We are in the back of the pack. This is not where this horse should be. It's where I prefer to be. It's not where this horse wants to be. and we're overheating and I'm not paying attention because it's not really destroying the green meter. So I was just like, whatever.
They're in the home
And
stretch.
we slide right by on the inside. And now we're
Show
in
your
duel
guts.
with the other horses. And I
Don't
went to
give
the
up
whip
now.
and got my speed stretch burst.
Oh, where are
And
they
it
headed?
did not help at all.
Finish!
The other horses just fended me off. No problem. And that's like a foreshadowing of what happened later on. And looking at the jockey eval, I was like, I don't think I can, even though I wouldn't replay a grade 3 race, it's just like the jockey eval that said I did a pretty good job. So, I mean, what's going on? What am I doing wrong? All right, here's the rest of the skills. Open triangle for dirt, and that's not great. Wet dirt, no advantage. And we got our other special ability, grit, to trigger. So 11 to 18 furlongs as predicted. It's probably going to have a sustained growth interval. So this is exactly what I wanted from this horse from a breeding standpoint. I think this horse's son or daughter will be easily a 5-star horse if I breed it correctly. All right, so we're going to do the 2-year-old filly cup. We are definitely not the favorite. We are favored to finish 6th. My horse waves its head around in disapproval. Eight furlongs on the turf in Toronto. I guess that's Woodbine. That horse has ears. That horse has ears. You know, I don't think I've seen a lot of horses wearing that kind of full face and ear mask out on the track lately. There's like 3 of them in this one race, but I think it's very rare that the horse wears the ear guards. And
The horses
the
are on
face
the
stuff
track.
you usually only see when it's wearing blinkers. Blinkers make
And
the horse
away they
concentrate
go.
on what's in front of it. So sometimes if you have a horse that gets distracted very easily, they put blinkers on or a partial blinker. Some horses don't react well to not being able to see anything to the side, so they'll put on a partial blinker where it can see a little bit to the left and right of his head, but not all over the place. Just to help that horse focus on what's ahead of it. The other thing that a future version of this game, if they ever made one,
Okay,
2
this is
things
where
that
the
I
race
really
is
like to
won.
see. One, the ability to scratch when you get into the race, like before the race starts. Like if you enter a race as a horse, the first race, and you don't know what the horse's abilities are, and you entered a turf race, and
Show
it's
your
like you're
guts.
46 to 1. You should be able to scratch on the race if
Don't
you
give
want
up now.
to. And the other thing I really think they should allow for male horses is the ability to geld them.
Finish!
So gelding can improve sometimes a male horse. I think you know what gelding is. It's when they chop off the bits. So just some more added realism. That's all I'm saying. That was not a good race. We didn't win. I thought we did okay. Speed is just 76. That's why we're not winning. This horse isn't especially fast right now. Maybe in the future it will be. I originally bred this horse to try to get the Summer and Winter Grand Prix, which is the one normal horse title I have yet to get. Where I don't remember what it's called, but you have to win a total of 6 between the Summer and Winter GP. And the Summer GP is 11 furlongs, the Winter GP is 12 and a half, and I've never been able to win 6 of them with any horse. So this horse, I'm going to spoil it for myself, won't be able to do that. It wins horse titles. It does not win, though, that horse title. So maybe the next horse that I breed we'll be able to do that. I don't think I ever appeared in the Gallup World Series stats. We did not appear on the end of year awards tote board either. All right, starting the new year off in the Alamo Stakes, 11 furlongs back in Toronto. We are the second favorite behind Modern Club. I want to say in one of these videos, they have a horse name that I can't believe they allowed to be put into this game. And when we find it, I'll try not to talk about it too much, but it's like, you know, basically like Anal Doctor or something like that. It's like, what? Why would you allow this to be the name? You know, I'm trying to think of what it was. Maybe it was like Rectal Monarch or something like that. It was just like, I know it was 20 years ago, but damn, dude, that you allowed that name, you know? Anyway, we'll all have a good laugh when we see that pop up there on the pre-race screen. All right, pretty good start. You know, it doesn't always do that where they kind of go around together. So when you get it, I would hold out for that sometimes. It'll happen with like 2 or 1 second left. Because I think it's a lot easier to get it, or a good start when it does that. All right. Sorry, I have a lot of Amazon boxes on the table. All right, I moved it. That will no longer be a concern. Staying to the outside here. The trouble I have with this horse is it loved to stay in the blue, but then it wouldn't generate any green meter, or very little green meter, and not having a full green meter really kind of bothers me. And so then I would speed up, then it would go to yellow and start burning the green meter. And it's just like, come on now. If this horse is supposed to have a feel in the 80s, the green meter should be full every time. But it's not. All right, we're going to go to the whip here in a second. As you can see, we're already burning green meter. Off we go. We are not going to be challenged very much. On our way to the victory in a grade 3 mile race that nobody cares about.
We have a winner.
But I don't think I'd ridden in it before. All right, there we are, Alamo Stakes. I'm not even getting Superstar on that, just one of the 5 categories. So, stats might be misleading. I think this horse is a little more challenging to ride than it led me to believe initially. All right, we're up to an A level. You can see feel is 76. It doesn't feel like 76. It feels like 56. I'm hitting all the wrong buttons because I haven't played this in a while. You'll have to pardon me there. Here I go look at GP Hunter, which is kind of why I bred this horse. And, you know, maybe if it had been a male horse, but I really just think it was because it gave me 4-star abilities instead of 5-star abilities when it was bred. That's all. All right, I see the Cherry Cup down there. I know we're an 11 to 18 furlong horse, but it's a 3-year-old fillies only race, and it is a grade 1, so we're going to race in it. And we're going up against Martial Art, who is the favorite. We're not even the number 2 favorite. We're the number 3 favorite. And I don't think a 5-star ability horse would be losing in year 3. Because you're peaking at year 5. I think a 5-star horse would be either the favorite or the second favorite, very close to the favorite in terms of odds. So, again, I made the breeding pairing to get the desired traits, but in doing so, we didn't get the abilities we wanted out of the breeding. Look, I don't know what Tough Saturn was doing, but I've never seen a horse run like that. It always weirds me out when I see one like that. It's like, did they video a horse running like that? And that's what they, hey, let's put that in the game. Really? I don't know, I've seen horses do weird stuff because of,
And away they go.
like, sensations and stuff like that. Maybe running like that makes a nerve in the horse's nose feel really weird and the horse likes it. I mean, that's the only reason I would think a horse would run like that. Outside of some severe airway structural problem. Oh, the cherry blossoms are so beautiful in this track at this time of year, but
Okay,
again,
this
we're
is where the
fading
race
to
is
the
won.
back, and that is not where this horse needs to be. And I just think we're not fast enough to get to where we need to be. All right, late on the whip here, starting the speed off. And I thought we were going to run down the 8 horse initially. We do get our speed burst, but the 8 is going to win that race. We're going to end up being second. It's going to hurt my winning percentage. Yep, a little disappointing. But we did make some money. Alright, just a couple of abilities are visible there. 4 skills. Pardon me. Looking at this, I think I'm going to go Washington Oaks for the distance. And maybe at some point I'll try Spring Mile Cup, but Summer GP was definitely my focus. See if I could win that race at this point in time. Because I've got to win 3 Summer GPs and 3 Winter GPs. While the horse is peaking skill-wise, so... Alright, so we get our bet in. And we are the favorite, finally, in a grade 1.
The horses are on the track.
I swear martial art was just our rival in the other race. You'd think we would have been rated higher in this one.
Go!
Trying to stay out of the rough. And again, we're still in the back, and it's in the back of my brain that I need to speed up. And maybe that's the other thing. Maybe I was riding the horse wrong. maybe I should have just kept in blue the entire time and then started my kick towards the end at about 2.7 furlongs and hope I could make up that distance, you know, recover my place in the pack and whatnot. I just don't feel comfortable doing that with a horse that's not
5 furlongs to go.
like a horse that's comfortable in the rear with a trailing leg and rear menace or something like that, last to first. Without those skills, I don't feel comfortable riding that way. I've never lined up 3Xs,
They're in the home
and right now
stretch.
it's not going to be any exception. We go to the whip, we go right to
Furlongs
the
to
front.
go.
We've got a couple of horses with us and going to try to judiciously use the whip and run them down. We do get the speed boost, but again, we end up
Finish!
finishing second. Too frugal arc. Block course. I don't know what that's about. We end up making some more money. Speed is up to 80. As you can see, power is 69, a blue number. Braking is actually going to be our worst skill when those are all unveiled. And I knew that. The sire of this horse, Sedate Ruler, it listed braking as his worst skill. So I'm not shocked by that. All right, so we're going to do our first crack at the summer GP here. We're going to get our bet in. All right, back in Toronto. We're looking for that that one horse's funny name. I don't know if it's this race. Nope, probably not. All right, here we go. Perfect start.
And they're off. That was a great start.
All right, overheating again. Trouble keeping this horse in the green. Despite the field stats, we got Blue Revolution here. You know, I hate to say it, I think I've spoiled myself by the way I raise horses that
They're midway down the back stretch.
I'm used primarily to one style, and if I get a different style, it's difficult for me to adapt to it. Maybe. I guess. Alright, we're overheating, but we're kind of in the lead.
2 furlongs to go.
Alright, now we're not in the lead. I probably went to the whip a little too late.
Show your guts.
I like kind
Don't
of
give up
going
now.
when the other horse goes. Alright, we got explosive. Oh, so stretch burst evolved into explosive.
We have
I
a
think.
winner.
And so that is fantastic. I mean, we've triggered it in almost every race, so I'm not shocked that it did that. We end up winning the summer GP, so I was very happy. Yeah, so it evolved into explosive, which is very good. And we also had grit trigger, and that's good because I think it has to trigger between 5 and 10 times for it to evolve. As you can see, all our stats are up. Braking is just 58. Speed is 81. Our best skill is Fierce, 88. So it's not terrible horse card. It's just not a fantastic horse card. All right, I think I'm going to try a long race if I can here. Maybe the Dublin Long Stakes. I mean, we got a horse that's good at running long distances. Why not take advantage of it, you know? All right, we ended up doing the Dublin Oaks instead. We were definitely not the favorite. We were going to get our bet placed. Alright, there's a look at the course here at the Dublin Oaks. Eclipsify holds the record. I really wonder if these tracks really look like this nowadays. Some of these European tracks, there's like nothing around. Or they run right by a gigantic mansion. You know, like a chateau or something. It's like,
The horses are on the track.
does the horse race really run through the front yard of the chateau?
Go!
Like, look how far away the fans are. It's just like, are y'all wearing binoculars? How do you see the horses being that far away? But then the other difference is they run turf way different than we do here, so. Usually our turf courses are inside of the dirt track. I don't think they run any dirt really over in the UK at least. I can't speak for South America. That's a racing scene I don't know anything about. They televise UK races once in a while here in America. I think occasionally they'll show us Australian race, but I've never seen, other than World Cup racing and stuff like that, I've never seen any Asian races. I've seen a couple of Middle Eastern races once a year on TV somewhere, you know.
5 furlongs to go.
But I've never seen anything from South America. So, or Japan, China, Hong Kong, whatever. Singapore, never seen racing from any of those places. Alright, so we're in a really good place right here, I think.
They're in the home
Except for
stretch.
the lack of green meter. But then look at the 9.
2
Good
furlongs to
grief.
go.
And I don't think I can compete with that. I'm falling back even though I'm going as fast as I can right now. And yeah.
Finish!
We end up getting trash. We're out of the top 3. And so I think this is going to be my first replay of the Dublin Oaks. Terrible grades for the jockey skills.
The horses are on the track.
Not a great start.
Go! Oh, it's a late start.
Not a great start. And here's something else I noticed in this race or another race like it. You see all the other jockeys are basically using the reins to urge their horse forward. I don't like doing that at the beginning of the race because in my opinion, there's a chance my horse could just start speeding up and like right now, and then I would have to fight to get it back under control. But B, and more importantly, I think there's a specific amount of energy your horse gets for each race. And I'm just not sure of the benefit of doing that, because to me that's just using up energy you could use later on in the race. Maybe I need to do some more research into that. That's just something I just started thinking about right when I'm watching these replays. Like, hey, maybe that would be helpful if I did that more. Now, granted, if I had a front-running horse with Star Dash, then I'd be doing that because that builds into that ability, you know. But I don't have that with this horse. And here, even though we're in the green meter for the most part,
5 furlongs to go.
these horses are largely pulling away from me, and I've got to accelerate, catch back up, and then we immediately go into yellow. So I think maybe I should have just not been trying to accelerate. We went into yellow a second time. Maybe just start my whip earlier,
They're in the home
2.7
stretch.
or 2.4, and not worry about who's where, you know.
2 furlongs to go.
All right, so we go to the whip. We are third
An amazing
place, maybe
burst of
second
speed.
place. Hoping to get the speed. Explosive kicks in, and we do finally win another race at Grade 1.
We have a winner.
When it wins, it seems so easy. The rest of the time, it's like, how did I ever win any? All right, so there is pretty much a really great look at the horse card. All yellow skills except for braking. And our special abilities are both up. The furlong distance is up. The interval is up. Everything's up except for the growth curve, which I'm just going to, spoiler alert, it's sustained. So that's why I said I think this horse is going to be fantastic in the breeding shed. And its progeny will be the horse that I had hoped this horse would have been. All right, there's another long race, Paris Royal Stakes. I've never raced that race before. So we're going to do the Dublin Long Stakes and the Paris Royal Stakes. And we'll add in the winter GPs. So that will be our racing calendar for the remaining part of the year. All right. We are going to get our bet in. All right, we've never raced this race before. You can see there's no course record, so whoever wins this race is going to set a course record.
The horses are on the track.
Terrible start.
Go! Oh, it's a late
Absolutely
start.
terrible. Yep, and just as I talked about before, now we're in this thing where we're in the back and they're trying to speed up. I'm not sure that I rode this horse the right way now that I'm looking at these races in hindsight. Maybe I should have just let it run in the blue and then started my kick toward the end at 2.7. It's just that this horse isn't supposed to be in the rear or even the pack based on that positioning interval icon. So, I don't know. Oh yeah, definitely a nice long race. The horse ahead of me, I think, is preventing me from going around on the inside. Not wanting to move over. Like, I would get a blocking foul if that was me. But if the computer can block me, no big deal.
They're in the home stretch. 2 furlongs to go.
Alright, so we go to the whip. Can we close the ground up?
Show your guts.
The answer is no.
Don't
Not
give
only
up
can we
now.
not close the ground up, even with our special abilities, we still finish second.
Oh, they've reached their
Our
limit.
horse does not like the whip.
Finish.
I think I'm just going to take the payout. I think that we're just going to have to eat it. This horse wasn't fully developed at the time. I remember thinking maybe I can win that next year when the horse is fully grown out. We're at A grade right now. You can see the skills are starting to tick up a little bit. All right, here in the Paris Royal Stakes, we're going to get that exacta box. As you can see, we're not the favorite again, and that is what it is. But on the other hand, we're not on the way outside, at least. Yeah, that's a kind of a weird. Seeing that now, it's a lot more clear what the race was like. When I saw it when I was playing, I was like, am I like going over or under a part of the track?
The horses are on the track.
Go.
You know what? I don't think they have any of that in horse racing, like tunnels or overpasses or anything. But maybe that'd be really cool if we had a horse track that had like an overpass or an underpass. I'll tell you what, if I win the Powerball, I'll build one with an underpass. What is the Powerball jackpot tonight? It's only 820 million. Alright, another long race. You forget how long they are. While we're watching the horses run, I'm going to go to a famous website called After Lotto to tell me how much money I'll win when I hit the Powerball. It's the sole jackpot winner. Alright. I'm going to pick our location and we're going to calculate. So it's an $820 million jackpot, estimated, probably more like 830 by the time it goes off. The lump sum payout is only $275 million. If you're really dumb and take the annuity, it's $574 million.
5 furlongs to go.
The first payment being $10 million, and the final 30th payment being $31.9 million after taxes. All right, so again, we start overheating. Look at how fast, and I'm desperately trying to slow down. That just crushed my green meter. And I'm like, there's no way I'm going to be able to win this race now. My green meter got evaporated.
To go.
And so we go to the whip late a little bit. I wanted to go a little bit earlier.
Don't give up now.
And I don't think we're going to pass. Can we pass?
Oh, where are they headed?
I think we barely won that. What an incredible win.
We have a winner.
Man. I did not think I was going to be able to catch that other horse. All right, we set the course record at the Paris Royal Stakes. And both of our special abilities triggered again. Pretty nice win. And all that gave me lots of hope that I'd be able to get the Summer and Winter GP all wrapped up. Speed ticked up slightly to 82. Stamina ticked up to 86. And we're going to go right into our next race, the Winter Grand Prix. We are definitely not the favorite at all. And that is so disappointing. We just won a long distance race in Europe, and we come back out of the special category into the normal category, and we're the fourth favorite. How disappointing is that? You know, and the other thing too, when I'm talking about breeding, maybe I need to breed a horse that's good at wet and dry turf. Something I probably should have thought of before I bred this horse. Horse Cadet. See, some of the names are funny, like Coffee Boost and Joby Free.
The horses are on the track.
Ace is High, that's a cool name. Not a great start. We're on the far outside again, of course.
Oh, it's a late start.
The game loves to put me on the far outside. It's like, we know you love running on the rails, so we're going to make you work to get there every time. Alright, as we pass in front of the grandstand, we're maybe fourth from the last. We break through to get to the rail, and it's got a rough crack. Yikes. And now there's a huge pack of horses ahead of me. And when I see stuff like this visually, I start to freak out. I'm like, hey, I need to start speeding up. I can't lose contact with a majority of the race horses. I can't do that and still win. Alright, continuing to try to stay in contact. We're going to the yellow.
They're midway
Green
down the
meter's
back
starting to get
stretch.
sucked up again.
Watch out!
I went into the red there for some reason.
Watch out!
And again. What is going on with this horse? And now everybody starts passing me. And I didn't go to the whip, only went to the whip late.
Furlongs to go.
This is not going to be a, you can't go to the whip late in a race like this. I probably should have gone to the whip earlier. And the horse went wild a couple of times.
Show your guts.
It's almost
Finish.
like I had no business running in the race. That's how bad that was. Alright, so we're going to rerun it. No shock to anybody.
The horses are on the track.
I think at this point I would just be happy with a top 2 finish. I just think the way this horse is constructed right now, I would be lucky to finish in the top 2. It's almost like I totally forgot what happened the last race and set out to do the exact same thing. Our pack position is a little bit better. But then the other horses start creeping up on me. That horse to our left started on the side of me. Now he moves over in front of me. Of course, he doesn't get a blocking on it, So we're gonna have to figure our way out of this.
They're midway down the back stretch.
And I said, you know what? Maybe I will just go to the inside. Get towards the end, we'll cut it inside. We'll hit the button and ride in the rough. And now we're almost dead last. So we go to the whip at 2.7. We're going to cut up the inside.
2 furlongs to go.
Trying to ride and lure the horse at the same time. The horse goes wild again because I used the whip a little too much.
Show your guts. Finish.
And we end up finishing 8th. Oh yeah, much better. Much better result. And I think this is when I knew I was never going to win the GP Hunter title. Because we just went over to a special race in Europe and dominated it, and came back to a regular race in the United States and got our ass kicked. We did win best 3-year-old filly and got 2 G's out of it. That's really not what I wanted to happen. We do have an S rating. Our stamina is now 87. These other skills are gradually starting to tick up. Speed is at 83, which is not fast enough to win. It's not. All right, let's find a race I can do in our 4-year-old year starting off. All right, so I've never raced this race before either, I don't think. The Frontier Handicap. 15 furlongs. Since the surface is good. We get our box exacta placed.
The horses are in the gate.
All right, Smoky Gem. Maybe I have raced this race before. It's been so long I forgot about it. Oh, for a minute I thought we were going to be able to line it up. We ended up with not a great start at all. Oh no. Again, having trouble moderating the yellow out. The speed of the horse is just too finicky. I think I'm spoiled for having all these horses that run at the rear, and I just let them do nothing the entire time until the very end of the race. And the thing is, we still have 9 furlongs left to go. All right, back in the yellow. And again, we're at the rear portion of the pack. It's not good. Not confidence inspiring. Can I squeeze in between these two horses if we start speeding up? I don't know.
They're midway down the back stretch.
Everybody and their mother's about to pass me. You start speeding up. I'm going to go to the whip. A little late. Very late. I should have avoided been whipping.
They're in the home stretch.
Thankfully, we go to the front. We've got one other horse with us. Should be whipping. Oh, thankfully. We get explosive to trigger right at the end. I think maybe I might have been winning some of these races in spite of myself. Alright, Frontier Handicap. Did we get paid? I don't even know. Yeah, we got paid. Alright, I think we have one more race in this video. My favorite track. Oh, look, I'm in the gray. Let's go find our favorite racetrack, everybody. You guys know where that is. That's in Dubai. We're going to race in the Climax Stakes, I think. Alright, we're going to close the video out with a racetrack that you guys know I love racing at, out in Dubai. Turf or dirt, doesn't matter. I love the track layout. It's got some tight corners, but I always seem to do well here. And so I was hoping this is a get-right race that I would win, and then it would make my horse get right, and we can start steadily winning grade ones. You're gonna have to come back for the second video to see if that happened or not. Oh, Dubai is like an old friend. It's like a comfortable couch that's been in your family for a couple generations. And it's broken in just enough. You sit down, it's uber comfortable. And it wraps its arms around you in a big old hug. Alright, these are other terrible horses that aren't going to win. There it is! Rectal Monarch. What on earth were they thinking when they let a horse be named Rectal Monarch?
It's a beautiful night for racing.
I just can't believe that. Alright, it's an okay start. It doesn't matter. It's Dubai. I run great here. Under the lights. Guy gave me an idea. Hey, let's move over. Let's move all the way over to the rail. The one horse moved out a little bit. As we start overheating again, I need to move out a little bit more, maybe around one of these corners. Once I can go side by side with him, like I think we can right now, I think we're perfect. We are set. Now this is an instance where speeding up just a little bit allowed my horse to do what I've been trying to make it do for the entire video. Run in the green, not go into the yellow, and just use that speed to naturally move into the preferred position, which my horse is in right now, just off the lead.
5 furlongs to go.
And this track and this race made it look so simple, but it's really been difficult with this horse, despite the skill rating and all that stuff in the field.
They're in the home stretch.
All right, we're getting onto the straightaway. We're going to go to the whip at 2.4.
2
It's
furlongs
us
to
and the
go.
4 horse. We are urging our horse onwards. And we go back to the whip. Thankfully, we don't hit the horse too many times. No special
Look out,
abilities
they're
triggered,
coming up
not
from behind.
needed. Here, under the lights in Dubai. All right,
have
folks,
a
I'm sorry
winner.
this is a little late. Hopefully next weekend will be on time because I already have the raw video. I really appreciate your support for a 20-year-old game. Don't forget to hit that like button or leave a comment down below. Anyway, I will see you next time on Gallop Racer 2006.